Like I said, I would be making a video about an opposing list from the last video, and so here we are. So this list consists of movies that are either already out that I want to see and have yet to see, or movies that are coming out that I want to see. And this list is a whole lot longer than the last episode, and so without further ado, again, in no particular order, the first movie I have on here is Argylle. Now, as many of you know, this movie is already out, and it has not done well with critics and whatnot. It's got a pretty low score. I've seen a lot of people talking bad about it. I usually don't care unless it's a movie like Madame Web, where it's like I did kind of let other people's input and stuff influence my decision not to watch the movie. But with this movie, though, this is the same guy who directed The Kingsman and the whole Kingsman series, even The King's Man, not Kingsmen. The third one is supposed to come out soon. But anyway, I like that style of his directing style and whatnot. You know, the bright colors, the action and whatnot. And so it's like a spy movie or something based off a book that comes to life, almost like a Goosebumps scenario, from what I gather. And so the movie seems really interesting to me, and so I will be checking out Argylle at some point. I don't know if I'm gonna go to the theater and see it. I don't really have time, that much time these days, and so I don't know, we'll see. So I know I said on the last video that the first two movies kind of suck, but I did enjoy the second one, like I said, and I'm gonna see it all the way through and complete the trilogy, and that would be none other than Venom 3. As usual, there's always a bunch of rumors out there saying that Spider-Man will make an appearance in one of the Venom movies and whatnot, and it really seems like the third one will be the place to do it. You know, they had the whole Easter egg and Far From Home at the end, or not Easter egg, but post-credit scene with Venom being in the MCU for like 2 seconds, you know. And I think at some point they are gonna have to pull the trigger on that and actually have, you know, them on screen together and not Venom looking at him on TV. Like, that whole thing was weird, and I still don't understand why they've been holding off on that. I mean, we have reached the end of the trilogy of Venom, so it would only be right that they go ahead and put Spider-Man in this movie. Not only that, but there are also other rumors that this could be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man going against him, which would kind of be weird because they've already teased Tom Holland's. So I don't know. That's the main reason why I want to see Venom 3, though, to see which Spider-Man is in it, and just to see Spider-Man possibly versus Venom. I don't know how it's going to play out, but we'll see. Next on the list is Gladiator 2. I have not watched the first Gladiator in years. I need to go and revisit that movie because it is a classic, and I remember bits and pieces, but not a lot. But I do remember it being a solid film, and so I definitely want to go back, revisit it, and get prepared for the second one. And that's all the information I have on the second one, is that it's coming out in 2024 this year. And so I do want to see the movie. And yeah, next movie is Twisters. Just like Gladiator, the film series, I guess you can call it a series at this point, we have a sequel to the 90s movie Twister, starring Bill Paxton, I think was his name, who has passed away since, unfortunately. But we have a sequel here starring the guy from Top Gun Maverick. That's the best way to describe him. I don't know what other movies he's been in. I think his name is like Clint Powell or something like that. And there's a few other people, but I don't know how to feel about this movie. I do want to check it out though, because I've seen the original, but it falls into the same boat as Gladiator for me, because I don't remember what happened exactly. I just remember it was a movie about storm chasers, chasing tornadoes, trying to get the best footage and whatnot. And so that's really all I remember. So oddly enough, I do want to see the sequel, even though sequels like that don't really do well. You know, I mean, the same thing was true. This is kind of in the same boat as Independence Day 2 for me, because not a lot of people even knew about the first movie. So when they see that there's a sequel, they're like, what? You know? Or it could be the other thing. A lot of people know about the first movie but didn't know about the second one. And so, yeah. Hopefully a movie doesn't suffer. I mean, if it's terrible, then, I mean, you got what you asked for, pretty much, by making a bad movie. So, anyway. Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. I don't even know who that is. I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan, and from what I've been told, this character was in the previous movies. I don't remember. I've seen all the movies, but I've never been that big of a fan. You know, it's in the same boat as Harry Potter for me. Seen all the movies, but I don't really feed into it like that. Like, I'm not so caught up with the lore and all of that. I didn't read the books, and so I really don't know. It's just an action movie to me. I'm not really invested in the story like that. I don't really know all the characters' names, but I do want to see this movie. And so the next movie is The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. This movie is about a stuntman who basically is kind of washed up or something like that, and then he ends up getting involved in, you know, some type of criminal heist or something like that. Basically, he's the good guy, and I don't know, he's mixed up in some crazy stuff pretty much from what I could see and what I interpreted. And so it just looks like a really good action movie, and so I was like, you know what, I might as well go watch that. So that's pretty much it. And Ryan Gosling is a really good actor, and so is Emily Blunt. She's a really good actress, and so plain and simple, that's really it. Next movie is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I seem to be the only person that absolutely hated this recent reboot of Ghostbusters. That first movie was absolutely terrible. To me, it was. And I seem to be the only person in that with that sentiment, but that's fine. I'll be on an island by myself. The movie was trash, and you can't convince me that it was not. However, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire seems to go bigger and be on a larger scale. The whole original cast is back now, just like they were at the beginning of, at the end of the last movie. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry, whatever. But yes, they're back. And I don't know, man. It just looks like a fun movie with a bigger scale of things going on within that universe. With this new generation of Ghostbusters being Paul Rudd, Paul Rudd's character, the kid from Stranger Things, and, you know, the other kids and whatnot. So, again, I'm not super invested in the lore and whatnot, and so of course I don't know the characters' names and all of that, but I do watch it. If it's on TV or whatever, I enjoy those movies, the original movies, that is. This recent reboot, and even the all-female one was cool. You know, it was an okay movie. It wasn't my go-to or anything like that, but it was cool. But this last one that came out, this first reboot, Afterlife, was absolutely terrible to me. And so that's just me though. But anyway, okay, next we have Red One. Red One stars J.K. Simmons and The Rock, and also Chris Evans. And I really don't know what this movie is about. It has something to do with a bunch of Santa Clauses or something like that. I don't know. First thing I thought about was Jingle All the Way, which I think was the name of the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. And so it reminds me of that. And I don't know. I guess that's enough for me. I'm just intrigued by it because you don't see these three people in movies together, being Chris Evans, The Rock, and J.K. Simmons. And so I would like to see how their chemistry is on screen and whatnot, and the acting chops and all of that. And so they got my money whenever the movie comes out. I think it's coming out in December, which makes sense. It's a movie about Christmas and Santa Claus and whatnot. So I'm gonna go check it out. And yeah. Okay, next we have, and this I'm really excited about this one. We have A Quiet Place, Day One. I said when in the second one, and to me so far, the second one is the weakest one. I don't know, I can't really say that concretely because I haven't seen the third one yet, but so far I did not enjoy the second one as much as I enjoyed the first one. The reason being is how they defeat the aliens. I think that is absolutely stupid, and it's a cheap way to get out of, you know, to find, it's just a quick solution, and I don't like that. I really don't. And so it is what it is. But with part two, you did get to see glimpses of how everything started. I mean, that was the very first thing you see in the movie, and I was like, man, I would really like to see a movie about how it all started, you know, or what was going on in different parts. And that's exactly, or I say different parts of the world, what's going on there, and you know, how are other people's lives being affected, how are other people coping with this. And that is exactly what they're giving us with Day One, you know, Quiet Place Day One. Because you actually see that one guy who's in A Quiet Place Part 2 when they get to that island. He's in the movie too, so I'm guessing this is about those survivors' story, like actually how they ended up on the island or something like that, which I think is kind of a cool way to do the third film. But it does make me think, how far is it going to go? Does it stop with this movie, like the ending is the beginning type of situation? But that wouldn't really make sense. I don't know how it's going to pan out. Do you do A Quiet Place Part 3 and then you just keep doing all spin-off movies like Day One and stuff like that? Like how does it go after this movie? But I'm getting too far ahead of myself, so let's just see how this movie turns out, and then we'll come back to that when it's time to. So until we get to part 3 or whatever is after, I want to see Day One and see how this story goes, because it is an interesting perspective, and it's something that I wanted from watching the second one. So got my wish. Next we have Beetlejuice, another movie that I'm really excited for. After seeing the first one, and I'm gonna confess this right now, I just saw Beetlejuice for the first time in probably about 2017 or 2018. That was the first time I had ever seen the movie, and I instantly fell in love with the movie. It's so creepy adjacent and all of that, and Beetlejuice just I mean, if you guys seen the movie, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. I like the movie for the same reason everybody else likes the movie. It's very goofy and very, Michael Keaton is just on a whole nother level. And I don't know if they're gonna, obviously they can't bring back Alec Baldwin because he's in jail now, you know, for that whole situation. But that lady, I don't know if they're gonna bring her back. I forgot the characters' names. I don't know if they're gonna bring her back. And then the girl, now that's the one thing I will say about the first Beetlejuice. It is extremely weird that they had Beetlejuice try to marry a teenager. That's super weird. That's my only problem with this movie. That's my only problem with this movie. Other than that, everything else in the movie, I liked it. But I hope they don't go that route, because now they have Jenna Ortega in the movie, and she looks kind of like a kid a little bit, you know. Oops. They have Jenna Ortega in the movie now. She kind of looks like a kid a little bit. She looks very young. So I hope they don't go that route again with, Michael Keaton, Beetlejuice trying to marry her, and that's weird. So hopefully they don't take that route in this movie. I do not know where this story is going to go, though. So I do think it's interesting that there actually is a sequel, but I've wanted a sequel for a while, so we'll see how this turns out, but I am excited for the movie. All right, we got a few more left. We have Imaginary, And then the movie right after that is similar to this movie. Imaginary is a horror movie, basically about imaginary friends, you know. And I think it's so funny. I'm just go ahead and intertwine these. The other movie that's coming out is called If, and If is similar to Imaginary. It's just the brighter side of having an imaginary friend, where Imaginary is your imaginary friend tries to kill you. Pretty much, it haunts you. It's like spirits or whatever, and possessed toys and dolls. I don't know how far they're gonna take it in the movie, but that's what it looks like in the trailer. Where If actually turns out you have a best friend that's imaginary and whatnot, and yeah. So I'm just intrigued to see both of those movies, to see both sides of the coin, because I've never had an imaginary friend or nothing like that as a kid. You know, I mostly just talk to myself. You know, I'm sure people will probably make fun of me for that, but it is what it is. I mean, I was a child at the time, you know, and so, you know, just like the people in these movies are children at the time or whatever. That's why you have these movies being made, Imaginary and If. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, so all right, so that was two birds, one stone right there. So next we have Roadhouse. I am literally just gonna watch Roadhouse off of a recommendation. There's somebody that I speak to on a regular basis about movies and stuff, and he just said that the movie looked great. And I trust him because he has good taste when it comes to movies. So just off of that, I'm gonna watch Roadhouse. I have not seen the original movie with Patrick Swayze. I might watch it, but I don't know, man. I might just jump straight into this movie, not seeing the past one. I mean, I feel like it's kind of not fair because I did the same thing with Top Gun. I saw the second one, never saw the first one. Or maybe I saw the first one, then immediately went. Either way, Top Gun had been out for a while, and I never saw it and ended up seeing the second one. So anyway, if I happen to watch the first Roadhouse, then so be it. If not, I'm not super invested into it. I mean, whatever, you know, it's not a franchise that I care about or reboot or whatever. I'm just gonna watch it based off somebody's recommendation. That's it, you know. All right, so next we have Nosferatu. And if you know anything about vampire movies and all of that, Dracula was not the first vampire. It was actually Nosferatu. And I trust that this movie will be a horror movie. I like horror movies. And so Nosferatu, what more do I need to say? One of the creepiest looking characters I've ever seen in my life. And I'm gonna enjoy the movie, I'm sure. Hopefully, we'll see. So anyway, next we have The Beekeeper, which is already out, starring Jason Statham. I think the movie from like IGN and stuff like that, the movie got like a 6. I'm not sure. Again, you can never trust IGN when it comes to things because they always either go with the safe route with the 7, or they completely rip a good movie to shreds. Usually they have their moments where they get things right, scoring it high or scoring it low, but it's very few and far and in between when they actually do right. So whatever. But The Beekeeper seems to be like I hate to keep comparing every like action flick to John Wick now, but that's exactly what it seems like it is. But Jason Statham was doing the John Wick thing before Keanu Reeves. If we really want to be real, he's one of the OGs of that type of style of movie, you know. And so I don't know, I like Jason Statham, so I'm just gonna check the movie out. I'm just gonna keep it that simple. Next we have The Old Guard 2. Now, The Old Guard, if you guys have not seen that movie, I recommend that you watch it on Netflix, starring Charlize Theron. I can never say her name right for whatever reason. And it's basically about these people. They are guards pretty much of like ancient, I don't even know how to explain it. They're like guardians of like some ancient thing, and they cannot die. But except for one way, and I'm not going to ruin the movie by telling you that, I recommend that you go see the movie for yourself, and then you can go watch the second one. But I wanted a sequel because it ended off on a cliffhanger and set up for a sequel, and they are fulfilling on that sequel, and so I'm here for it. After watching the first one, which had fantastic action, the story was pretty good. I mean, it was shot pretty dope. The CGI is really good, and so it's just a really good movie. And I'm gonna go check it out whenever it drops on Netflix, because I don't see it getting it's good, but I don't see it getting a movie theater release. That's what I'll say. So all right, lastly, we have Alien Romulus. Now, again, Alien, not super invested in the story and whatnot, but I believe I've watched all the Alien movies. I do get confused on the titles and stuff. What really made me care about the story somewhat was Prometheus. Prometheus is one of my favorite movies of all time. Why? I don't know. I just like that movie a lot, especially the ending. Like that scene with go watch the movie if you haven't. I'm not even gonna say, but it's part of the Alien universe, and so that's why I'm back on board. Now, I have not seen Alien Covenant yet. It's been on my watch list to watch, and I just have not gotten around to it, but I plan to watch Alien Covenant before I watch Alien Romulus, so that way I'll be all caught up and everything. Now, I wish they would come out with a Prometheus 2, but from what I've heard about Alien Covenant, that wouldn't be possible, and so that kind of sucks. But whatever, I'm kind of invested in it now. Like I said, I watched the previous ones before Prometheus. I wasn't super invested, but after Prometheus, I'm glued to it now. Plus, I heard that they're coming out with a Alien TV show. So I don't know what that's gonna entail. Maybe it's the events of, Covenant or something. I don't know, but I definitely am missing some information on the story, the larger picture as a whole, and that's unfortunate, but I will get caught up on it. And yeah, so let's see. I don't have anything else. Nope. That concludes my list of the watch list, the movies that I am actually excited for. I feel like I'm missing it. Oh my god. Okay. I am so sorry. Let's just say I'm saving the best for last at this point. I completely went over Deadpool 3. This is my most anticipated movie of the year. Deadpool 3, I do think, will actually save the MCU and reset some things. Obviously, with them playing into the multiverse and the TVA being in it, and there's so much stuff that's going on in this movie. And the way that they're portraying this movie is, this is Fox's version of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, with Deadpool being Doctor Strange. And that's exactly what it looks like. And so I am so excited for it. And it's not even called Deadpool 3. It's Deadpool and Wolverine. For those of you who do not know, on the Marvel side of things, my favorite two characters are Wolverine and Doctor Strange. And for the past few years, because Wolverine has been completely absent, Doctor Strange has been number one. But now that he's back, I think Doctor Strange is going to have to take a back seat, because it looks like Wolverine may be my favorite again because he's back. So yeah, I'm so excited for this movie. It looks absolutely insane from what they've shown in the teaser trailer. I think I'm gonna skip trailer 2 just because I want to be surprised, and they've been doing a good job. Like, you can't really, there's no big reveals that were displayed in the teaser trailer. I mean, other than there's maybe possibly 4 things. I think the villain, a variant or two different variants, a Easter egg, and a cameo. Those are the only 5 things that I know of. With that being possibly Daniel Radcliffe's Wolverine in the casino scene, the Secret Wars comic at the very end of the trailer. Then you have one of the scenes where Deadpool is holding a gun, but the glove looks different. So you don't know if that's the Deadpool that we know or if that's another variant. And then also, actually there's another variant. Okay, it's too much to cover already. There's about 6 things that I know about from this movie, but I don't want any spoilers. I want to go into this movie as blind as I can be, so that way I can really take it in and enjoy it. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna skip trailer 2, and I'm just going to keep going, just knowing that this movie is coming out and seeing what I saw so far. I'm gonna leave it at that. So I don't want to spoil the element of surprise. And so yeah, all right, well, I'm glad that I remembered that was on my list. I don't know how I just skipped over it like that, but like I said, save the best for last. And so yeah, so all right, that concludes my watch list. If you guys would like to go back and watch the do not watch list or don't watch list, I don't know what I'm gonna call it. No watch list, I don't know, we'll see. Leave a comment and let me know what are some movies that you were done with that you're not gonna watch. And I don't know, there could be something that I missed. And then also on this video, go in the comment section as well, leave a comment, tell me about some movies that you guys are looking forward to, some that I might have missed. And also like, subscribe, and share if you would. Would you kindly, like dude off of BioShock. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I got for this episode. So I will catch you guys on the next one. See you.